Hi, welcome to Leap Taken. This is Mika, and here at Leap Taken, I talk about all things witchy, craft related, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. And today I'm doing a little kitchen witchery. So it's a little cook with me, but a mini version because I'm not making a big display of food or anything like that. I'm going to be roasting almonds. But the thing that makes it witchy is because I'm tapping into the energies of what the properties that are in almonds and the other ingredients that I'm using. So I'm going to be roasting almonds in maple syrup and cinnamon, a little bit of salt, and just a tad bit of oil. So each one of these items that I'm using has magical properties. And I am bringing those out and infusing it with my own energy, my own vibrations to bring prosperity into my life. Um, I have big plans. I have big things that I want to do. I have some really big desires that I want to fulfill, and they require some money. They require some money. So I would like to bring more of that into my life. I'm very grateful for what I have. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be a stay at home wife. I'm very grateful for all the other things that I've previously manifested. So, from that place of gratitude and of joy, I am manifesting even more. So, I like to keep, when I'm doing any sort of kitchen magic, so I cook, yes, but if I'm warming up, some frozen item, I'm not necessarily performing kitchen magic. But when I am, I like to use as close to natural and organic ingredients as possible. So almonds, the almonds that I have, it's natural. They're raw. They were raw almonds that I grabbed to use for this. I'm using a decent pure maple syrup. It's not, Mrs. Butterworth. So I'm using that. And of course, I'm using Himalayan sea salt. You'll see that in just a moment. All the different things I'm using, but I'm using, my pantry cinnamon. I didn't get a cinnamon bark and shave it. I could do that because I actually have some, but I didn't think fast enough to do that. But I used the already um, ground cinnamon that I already have to use this. But anyway, and I just sort of want to talk about where heat comes into play. Heat is an alchemical tool. So let's think about when it comes to alchemy. So heat is that process of breaking it down and sort of melting or molding or burning or whatever that, however much heat you're applying, it will transform what it is into something else or more of or less than. So again, that's just another step in my working that I'm doing in my kitchen magic. So I will roast those almonds with all of these wonderful ingredients, and they'll solidify onto the almond. They'll be tasty, and it's a sweet, healthy snack, yes, which is also good for my body. But this thing has dual purposes because for magic purposes, all of my intent, all of the energy I'm putting into it will then come across, and that last alchemical step of the heat in the oven will be just that last bit. It'll be the burning process that turns the raw ingredients into something more, both physically, mundanely speaking, and then magically speaking. Um, Also, doing kitchen magic. So in my case, we'll stay with my almonds. I can use these almonds in other spell work because I've now they're basically spelled. I've spelled the almonds. Once I've spelled the almonds, I can use this in other spell work that where I'm not eating them necessarily. I could be now grinding them up. The properties, everything that's on those almonds could be used to fortify yet another spell. So and you can also use these almonds and place them into a bag, and walk around with them. I can keep them on me in a little charm type bag. I'm trying to think in their whole form. I could grind them up. I can use them. I can make a paste with it after I grind it up and smear it on something. From a magical point of view, I can use them in a ritual. I can bury them in the ground as offerings. So there's a lot of other stuff I can do once I've created, this finished product, which will be the roasted almonds. So stay tuned for how I do it. All right, so we're getting set here. I got my almonds in this bowl right here, And again, this is representing my money, prosperity, beauty, intuition, or intuitiveness. In this case, it's all about prosperity. This is what these almonds mean to me right now, and a healthy snack. But as I ingest them, I will be thinking about all the abundance, all the prosperity, money that is coming my way. I have some big plans and big things that I want to do this year, and it's going to require money. So here are my almonds. Bountiful. All right, so I have my maple syrup right here. And maple syrup, again, it's all about, honestly, about making things sweeter. And I want my life just a little bit sweeter as far as prosperity and abundance. So I added probably just under a quarter cup of maple syrup to this bowl here. And I'm going to now add some cinnamon. And cinnamon is widely used for drawing money, romance, protection, and I'm eyeballing it here. I probably put in about a tablespoon of cinnamon. It's also for psychic energy and purification. So now I'm going to take some pure vanilla extract. Don't want to use imitation for this. So I added that was probably about a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and we need some salt. So I'm just going to add some in my hand. Now salt, this is Himalayan pink salt, is fine. So I'm going to add some. Now salt is typically, for protection, and it's grounding. So we have that going. And now I got my oil. Now technically I've seen recipes without, I'm just going to add, I like the way it tastes, and I like what it does. So I'm just going to add half a teaspoon of olive oil. And olive oil has a long history of being a carrier oil or an anointing oil. It has healing properties. It helps with your immune system, digestion. It's also, again, used for prosperity, virility, fertility, and protection. So abundance and prosperity, and for me, virility and fertility, not necessarily to procreate children, but to birth creative projects, endeavors, and things like that. So yeah, I want that. I want all that energy. Now I didn't mix all this stuff, and I completely forgot a spoon, so I'm gonna walk away and grab me a spoon. I'm so prepared. Anyway, so I'm gonna mix all this together. Now you can heat this up, and it's gonna take a little effort to mix it up because it's not warm. So I'm gonna use my hand here, the heat of my hand a little bit. It should filter through, and I'm also emitting energy as I mix it from my left hand. Everything that I want, I am infusing through the bowl into this sweet cinnamon mixture that will go onto my almonds. So I'm just really mixing up that cinnamon, scraping the side of the bowls. Got some real ASMR stuff going on right now, right? If I shut up, you might hear it. Okay. So with that, I'm just going to go ahead and just pour this mixture onto my almonds, and I'm going to mix it thoroughly here. And I have my oven preheating on just 300 degrees. I'll keep this probably in there for about 15-20 minutes. I'll check. I usually eat one, or I'll look. I sort of just eyeball it. I don't have a real recipe. It just depends. I've not roasted any nuts or my almonds in this oven here in Arizona yet. And yes, location I think does matter because of the elevation. But I think I'm okay. I think it'll be all right for about 20-30 minutes top on 300. So I like to be thorough. I want them really mixed together. I want all that goodness, all that I infused into the mixture here. I want that all onto the almonds. Okay, so I already have a line with aluminum foil. This is a stone cookie sheet or just flat surface here. So now I can just put the almonds on here and not put anything down. That's why I like the oil, but just to be on the safe side, because they can stick, I just drop just a little bit. You can use pan or something like that, but here's why I like to do it. I want to take my hand and I want to infuse it with my energy. And this is a time you can draw, you know, a pentacle, a star, a circle around it. You can do that. So it's just a thin layer of oil, just to, so it's, you know, nothing sticks. Okay? And now we pour this onto this surface, all the goodness. Alright, so I'm gonna flatten this out because I want them to roast, you know, individually. So I'm gonna just spread this out like so. I am hoping this is translating onto this camera as I do this. Alright, so yeah, single layer here. It's okay if they touch, I just don't want them stacked on top of each other. Alright, yeah, there we go. Yeah, okay. So this completes the process. So we have the almonds ready to go in the oven. I heard a beep a moment ago, so I know my oven is preheated. So yeah, that's it. So there we go. So I'll get this going and, oh, one last thing. Before I even put it in the oven, just to sort of close out, so mote it be.